You're listening to the official Temple University's Football Coaches Show, brought to you by Peerless Boilers on Philadelphia's #1 college radio station, WHIP.
Yes, that's us, WHIP Radio here in Philadelphia. Zach Gelb and Chase Sr. here with you, taking up until noon Eastern Time, where the Temple Sports Hour will come your way. Temple University's on a bye week for the football team, coming off that tough loss to Penn State. They sit at 5-5 on the year. 2 more games left to get to that magic number of 6 that would make them bowl eligible. And now joining us on the hotline is the defensive line coach for your Temple University Owls, and that's Elijah Robinson. Coach, Zach and Chase here on North Broad Street. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How you guys doing?
Well, we're doing great, and we appreciate you giving us a few minutes today on your bye week. And you played at Penn State. You were a graduate assistant there and also a coach. You spent a whole lot of time in Happy Valley. This time you're going back on the sidelines as a coach for Temple. What were some of the emotions as you took the field at Beaver Stadium at Saturday?
Well, I got that question a lot of guys ask, was they going to feel any type of way or going back there, but to be honest, I had no type of fun. It's always good to go back home where I played ball at and went to college at. But at the same time, I didn't have nothing new when I went back there. I got a chance to see some guys that I coached. I got a chance to see some people I worked with, so that was always good to see some familiar faces. But other than that, I was just focused on the process, go down there and be prepared for my guys.
I know you guys have had some tough losses as of late. Penn State, that game got ugly in the second half. Memphis, you guys lost by a field goal. However, I know you weren't here last year, but the biggest difference I've seen on the field from last year to this year has been on the defensive side of the ball, and especially the defensive linemen. Matt Ioannidis, Hershey Walton, some of your defensive linemen on the interior have given you a lot of praise for going on out there and really implementing a specific culture at the defensive line. When you took over the job, what was some of the mentality and the techniques that you wanted to teach these players?
Well, first and foremost, I'd say one thing. Those guys, it's a great group of guys, and I want to let people know that first and foremost. There's a great group of guys. I love working with them. They're hungry for knowledge. And those guys, they really do a good job, especially some of the older players that leading that room. But the key thing when I came in there, is as far as we wanted to focus on get-offs, having guys get off on the ball. So that was the key thing we focused on, was fundamentals, getting off the ball, being violent at the point of attack, and just trying to carry a certain swagger. And those guys did a pretty good job doing that so far. And we got to continue to get better, and we can get better. There's room for improvement with it.
The defensive line coach for your Temple Owls, Elijah Robinson, joins us right now on the main event on WHIP Radio here in Philadelphia. And, Coach, during your playing days at Penn State, there was a lot of moments and stretches during the season where your defense thrived, but your offense struggled. That's a similar situation with what's going on with this team right now. The defense is playing well, but the offense not so much. Have you taken the offensive side aside and talked to them about, hey, we're getting our job done, you go out and do yours, and we'll all be okay?
No, what? We're a team, we're a family. We stick together. If one side is struggling or the other side is struggling, at the end of the day, we're all here together. We're all in it together. One thing we're going to do is stick there for one another, and we're going to do our job, and they'll do their job. And they say we'll see what happens at the end of the game. But we're never going to go and talk to the guys and tell them to do their job. We know they get it done. And we're just going to do our job, and that's all we can do. Play one snap at a time.
A couple of weeks ago, Matt Rule, during his weekly press conference, said that praise Martin-Oguike hasn't even reached his ceiling yet. Phil Snow, the defensive coordinator, also said that if there's anybody on the defensive side of the ball that is playing the best, it's praise Martin-Oguike. What has he yet to do that he can do to reach his fullest potential, Coach?
Well, praise his first year playing defensive line. He's a former linebacker. He really hasn't had much time at the position besides pretty much some of the spring and then our preseason camp. So they said the sky's the limit for praise. As long as he keeps doing what he's doing, that's working hard, watching film of himself, watching some of his opponents, and just going through the process to get better. So he does have a bright future if he continues to work at it.
You have a lot of impact players on the defensive side of the football, and that linebacking unit is a big strength with Tyler Mitakevich and Nate D. Smith. And like Chase just said, Praise Martin-Oguike was a linebacker. You converted him to defensive end. Sharif Finch was also playing linebacker, and he switched back and forth a few times this year. When you're bringing a guy from linebacker to defensive line like Finch and Praise Martin-Oguike, what's the toughest thing for them to understand in making that switch?
Well, Coach DeRabo, man, he did a great job with those guys. So they were so far beyond before they even came to the defensive line as far as the knowledge of the game. So they understood the line movements that's going to be called by the linebacker. They understood when those line movements are going to occur. So that helped those guys out tremendously, just knowing what the linebackers were thinking previously before it even happened. The key thing is now that they have their hands on it now, which means they have to play for 3-point stance, and we also played for 2-point stance at that time. But I think that was the biggest thing for me. Is now it's a contact with every snap, and his guys face every snap. And those guys, they did a good job relating to that, and they did a good job adjusting to that as well.
What drew you to Temple in the offseason, Elijah?
Oh, well, Coach Rule, he's a Penn State grad. When I was a GA, I met Coach Rule when he was coaching at Temple. I met him at a clinic. And then Coach Francis Brown, we played together in Little League, played together in high school. We knew each other forever. So just this communication between those two guys, and I had a chance to come down and interview with Coach Rule and sit down with Coach Snow. I thought Coach Snow he's a tremendous coach, a lot of knowledge. I know I can learn a lot from him. And I got an opportunity for Coach Rule to come down and join the staff. I was astounded to do so, and I'm glad that I did come down to do that.
Coach Elijah Robinson is our guest on the Temple University Football Coaches Show, powered by Peerless Boilers, Peerless Builds, America's Best Boilers. Zach Gelb and Chase Sr. here with you. Take you up until noon Eastern Time, where the Temple Sports Hour comes your way on WHIP, all via iHeartRadio. And you mentioned Coach Snow. Coach Snow's system took a full year for the players to finally grasp it and understand it, and he said that it was going to take that full year. As a guy that was coming in midway through that process, how long has it taken you to understand Coach Snow's system and really get a full grasp of it?
Well, like I said, he has tremendous knowledge. He's been around the game for a very long time, and he's big on details. So every day is a learning experience for me. Every day I'm learning something new from Coach Snow, and I said that's right. A lot of guys from the defensive line, but a lot of the knowledge that I get of defensive line is because of things I'm learning from Coach Snow, and that's every day. And like I said, it takes time to learn these things. And I know it takes time for the kids, but even as a coach, you can learn something new every day with the different things that we do.
In the interior spot of the defensive line, Ioannidis just keeps on getting better every week, and Hershey Walton is one of the toughest guys on this team. Both of them are big, stout, physical presence up front. How much for you has it been fun watching those players grow this season?
Well, I'll tell you what, man, those guys are great guys to coach, man. Like I said earlier, they're great kids. And those guys, they want to be great. So they work at it, they challenge each other, which is the most important thing, is that they challenge each other, and they make each other better. I had nothing but a great time watching these guys, man. Like I said, they have another year together. I'm expecting those guys to go out and keep working hard and hopefully have another good year.
Coach, a few minutes ago, you were talking about how you have instilled swagger into your defensive line. I've seen you on the sidelines, and you walk around with confidence and swagger. Where does that derive from?
I don't know how much swagger I really have.
when you're coaching, you got swag.
I don't know if I got any coach swag, but Coach Foley's our swag coach.
Really, Coach Foley is?
Out of all people, right?
Yeah, he's our swag coach. But like I said, you have to instill enthusiasm into your guys. And like I said, but my guys, I try to be enthusiastic as possible, and I know that it can be contagious. So I just try to make that positive energy contagious to my guys.
And lastly for me, Coach, you know very well as a player playing at Penn State that culture is so important within the team. And it seems as though from the outside, from our perspective, that this Temple University football program has a strong culture. How important is that for a program that's looking to build and looking to get back to success and be featured in bowl games year in and year out?
Well, like Coach Rule always says, we have to play Temple football. And one thing about Temple players, even as a player at Penn State, we always say when we play Temple, they're going to come and they're going to be tough, they're going to be physical, and they're going to be ready to play. And after every game, guys end up being sore when you walk back to that Penn State locker. So always say, man, those
Coach, we got two more for you here on the Temple University Football Coaches Show, powered by Peerless Boilers, as we're taking a look at the defensive line this week with Coach Elijah Robinson. You look at this team now; they're 5-5. You guys had a good opportunity up against Memphis, a poor second half up against Penn State in that second half of that football game. You guys need one more win to get to that magic number 6. That would take you from 2 wins a year ago to being bowl eligible. What is the message to these players during this bye week about staying focused and then going out there and giving a better effort up against Cincinnati to try to get to that magic number of 6?
I think we got a great group of young men. I think they understand what they have to get done. They have to just continue to go through the process, and attack the process every day. And that's all we can do. We have a process that we do, and we got to follow that process, and then we'll see what happens when the season ends.
Before we let you run, I want to just hit you up on some of the younger guys. We've seen a lot of Jacob Martin this year. We haven't really seen that much of Michael Dogby and Freddie Booth-Lloyd, and they're obviously going to be an imperative part of the future of Temple football. Those 3 guys, Martin, Dogby, and Lloyd, those are going to be some fun players to watch over their years here at Temple University. Right, Coach?
Yeah, that's the plan. Those guys, again, are young guys that work hard. They really look up to our older players. So our older players are making a good impact on those guys. Jacob is one of the freshmen that got a chance to play more this year, so he's did a good job for us playing as a freshman. Dogby and those guys, they're working hard. And we got some more young guys that I think are going to be good players for us as long as they keep continuing to follow the process.
Coach, final one. I'm just so shocked that Ed Foley has the coach with the most swag. Out of all you younger guys, you, DeMichael, Fran Brown, it's really Coach Foley that has the most swag?
Hey, man, he calls himself the swag coach. Those guys have to battle for that one.
Well, he's definitely a fun guy to talk to, and we always love talking to you as well, Elijah. So we appreciate a few minutes today. Enjoy the bye weekend. We'll see you before the game for Cincinnati.
All right, take care.